Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.
On July 8, 1947, U.S. military authorities sent out a press release stating that the Air Force was in possession of a flying disc that had crashed on a ranch near Roswell, New Mexico. Yet 24 hours later, the military changed the story. It was only a weather balloon. Some said that was the beginning of a cover-up. Our next guest calls it a cosmic Watergate. So let's open up the secret vault, and a pleasure to welcome back to MidPoint, nuclear physicist and a veteran lecturer on UFOs, author of the book Flying Saucers and Science. A scientist investigates the mysteries of UFOs, interstellar travel, crashes, and government cover-ups, Stanton Friedman. Stanton, it's a pleasure to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure indeed. So
there's the big question that everybody wants to know, seeing as this is the anniversary. Why would the military just change a story 24 hours later? Because we both know the military takes great pains to make sure about what they're announcing in the first place.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and we've never had a chance to talk to any of the people directly involved. You know, why did you do that, General? But it's pretty clear that they were in recognition of the enormous significance of the find. You know, here we have the most elite military group in the world, the group at the 509th Bomb Wing in Roswell. And I say that, many people may not realize it, but they were the guys who dropped the atomic bombs on Japan, both of them. 2 atomic bombs later tested at Operation Crossroads in 1946. And elite selected officers. There was nobody else in the world who had any atomic bombs. They were it. So we were careful about who we put involved in this sort of thing. And I'm sure there were conversations between the lead people involved. Everything is, you know, up the line, so to speak. The base commander was a West Pointer, Colonel Blanchard. His boss was a West Pointer, General Ringme. His adjutant was a West Pointer, Thomas Jefferson Dubose. I've talked to him because the other 2 were dead when I got involved in this. And I was very impressed. These are top-notch people, not people with nothing else to do but make up stories.
Well, but let's talk about the fact that there's some evidence here, because Lieutenant Walter Haut of the U.S. Navy was convinced that he had personally observed a craft. He had a sworn affidavit that was supposed to be opened after his death. That affidavit's never been opened, have it? We've never seen that.
Well, yes, there is a report in Witness to Roswell by Don Schmidt, and another individual, and they have reported what Walter said in that sworn affidavit. He wasn't in the Navy. He was in the United States Army Air Force. He was the base public information officer, but also a World War II bombardier, and such a good one. He was chosen to drop the instrument package on one of those nuclear tests, and you use your best bombardiers, because without the instrument data, the test isn't worth a lot, and there weren't a lot of spare atomic bombs around at that time. So he said he saw wreckage, for sure, and bodies. That's what he says. But he said it, we didn't see it until after he was dead. I knew Walter, outstanding individual, well-respected in Roswell. I've asked people about him. And we can't know secondhand, third hand, fourth hand, what went on in discussions, but it's pretty clear that there was a close contact between Colonel Blanchard, who went on to be a 4-star general, mind you, and Vice Chief of Staff of the Air Force. So obviously it was well connected.
Let me do this, Stan. I've only got about a minute or so left. So we've looked at this for so many years. Are we any closer to actually unraveling this, making sense of it, and finding out what the real truth is?
Well, there's no question that the real truth is that the United States Army Air Force recovered a crashed flying saucer, recovered alien bodies, and it's covered them up very successfully since that time. It's one of the biggest stories in the millennium, and it's not surprising. Many other important stories have been covered up for very long times. National security involved. We don't want anybody else to learn what we learned from examination of the wreckage and the bodies. That gives us a top dog slot, but who knows how many others have crashed.
Do you think we'll ever see any evidence? I mean, the people of America will be able to view any sort of evidence, or is all that gone now?
Well, no, I think it's been kept. They'd be utterly ridiculous to destroy the bodies or the wreckage because you get new analytical testing capabilities as time goes on. Things that you couldn't even think about doing 60 years ago are routine now. Think of DNA. We didn't even know it existed.
There are so many different facets of this story. And
oh, yes.
I love getting a chance to talk about this because it still goes on. No matter how much we talk about it, it still goes on. And it still is something that has so many leads worth following. I want to remind everybody that your book is called Flying Saucers and Science. A scientist investigates the mysteries of UFOs, interstellar travel, crashes, and government cover-ups. And again, this may be one of the greatest of all time, and it still is worth a listen and finding out what is happening in it. Stanton Friedman, thanks so much for joining us, sir.
It's been my pleasure.
All right, take care. Coming up next, the never-ending PC attack on those who make us laugh, including this young lady. Next on MidPoint.